Hi, this is Moo. I have a confession to make. I like tabletop role-playing games. I have been playing them since the late 70s on and off. I enjoy them quite a lot with the right group of people. And most recently, I am GMing a long-running campaign now on Roll20, and I'm playing in another one. And once in a while, because hobbies ebb and flow, you come back into the hobby and you start perusing message boards or, back in the dinosaur days, Usenet news groups, and you'll see some certain questions come up. And one of the questions that comes up either as an actual question or more likely because someone already has an answer and they're going to share it with the world is, what is role-playing? The most basic question you would think when it comes to a role-playing game. In this short video, I am going to tell you what I think is the most practical way of answering that question. Now, this is a theoretical question that a lot of people spent many hours and ASCII characters defending, defining, arguing, and flaming in various formats since the earliest days of gaming. Now, I don't particularly care about participating in any of these discussions for reasons which I will get into, except once in a while to drop in an amusing troll to counter a particularly pompous assertion. So, for the sake of this video, I'm going to approach how to answer this question from the standpoint of how it will benefit your gaming experience the most. So, here's how I think you should answer the question of what is role-playing. Role-playing should never be defined in your game by anyone. Nothing good can ever come of it. And here are a couple reasons why. No two people ever have the same idea of what makes role-playing good or bad, despite what they might say on a message board, unless they're sock puppets, I suppose, which in many cases they are. And let's face it, in most games, if you have 4 players standing in front of a house and the GM describes the house, if you're lucky, there are 5 different ideas of what that house looks like. Likewise, if you consider yourself to be a deep in-character role player, whatever the heck that means, you have a complete idea of what the world looks like and how things act based on your little bubble perspective, which is fine. I mean, that's part of what makes it fun. The problem is that you're sitting there in your nice little bubble, and then the person next to you at the table might act in some way or say something that breaks your little bubble, and then you immediately pigeonhole them as a bad role player. They're not necessarily a bad role player, they just have a different idea of what is going on, and that's perfectly fine. Now, the second problem with trying to define role-playing is that you might have people at the table who are new to RPGs, or maybe they're just shy, maybe they're just not comfortable with the idea of role-playing, and sometimes for very good reasons, because, I mean, let's face it, role-playing fanatics are just plain weird people. If role-playing as a practice gets defined, encouraged, or mandated, saying you must role-play, and this is what makes good role-playing, and this is what everyone is talking about, you're just going to weird these people out, and they're right to be weirded out, and they're going to leave. Probably while 2 of your other serious role players are arguing over the definition of role-playing. And the third reason, seriously, nobody cares. I mean, let's be honest, the pen and paper RPG community is a small and shrinking one. It's a fringe hobby. And honestly, unless you're trying to exalt your position on a forum for no good reason at all, nobody outside your little group really cares. And probably none of them either. If you draw lines in the sand on things like what is good role-playing, what's a good game system, what makes a good GM, what the job of a GM is, how do you set up a campaign, etc., whatever you happen to have a personal crusade about, the only thing you do is shrink your community even further. And that's normally about the last thing that you need for your small gaming group, just trying to have fun on a free night playing a systemized version of Let's Pretend. So in short, if you're looking for a definition of role-playing, or you're trying to come up with a definition of role-playing, don't bother. Just go have fun. Thanks a lot. I hope you found this helpful and or offensive. I really don't care which. I hope it helps you in your own pursuit of geeky happiness in your chosen fringy hobby, and I'll see you next time.